Afghanistan is fighting for self-governance and the right to rebuild their land after decades of war and Taliban brutality. NATO and the coalition forces have spent years rebuilding this country, village by village. Canada has been working in this land to develop schools, vaccination programs, and mentoring programs with the Afghan National Army and the Afghan National Police, as well as refurbishing the Dalla Dam. If you believe that one person can make a difference in this world, then you will understand why so many people are risking their lives each and every day in Kandahar Province. Women have become the new frontline soldiers of change.
My name is Sergeant Sarah Surtees, and I'm a CIMIC operator here at Camp Nathan Smith in Kandahar City. So CIMIC stands for Civil Military Cooperation, and what our role in this whole operation is and in Kandahar City is that we work with both the civilian and the military population to essentially bring them together to create forward movement. So specifically with respect to develop or stability operations within the area. Because we're out on patrol and we're often in the communities, we are a link for the people to the government of Afghanistan. So we bring the people and the government of Afghanistan together so that there's progress made in their daily lives. Things as simple as a well, for example, can be established through contact with CIMIC, and again we then talk to Giroa, the government, get the district manager's approval for what it is that we do so we can move forward with projects. So what we are doing, as I say, is bringing people together. That's essentially our job, and so that we can see progress within the community. Well, the very first thing is that we need to meet people. And so when we go out outside the wire and into the communities, one of our jobs is to meet with key people in the community and establish a rapport with them. The biggest thing here is that we want to make sure it's the right place for the well, that we're going to hit water, and that everyone will get it.
And we're just waiting for the well.
Yes.
This was the spot that the contractor said he couldn't get more than 40
Yes, this is the spot.
Because of the rock.
Yes.
It's not as practical for everybody else, but that lower level
Yes.
will make it way better
Okay.
to get water.
Thank
Then
you.
there might have to be something pulling it there, pumping it somewhere else.
Okay. You need to listen to what it is that the people want. It doesn't matter what we think is best for them. It's what they feel they need to have in order to move forward with the progress here. So listening to people, trying to pull out and put together what it is that they really want so we can move forward.
It's him getting the drilling well up here.
Party tonight in there.
A party?
Ah!
Oh, well, you know what? I didn't dress up for it, so it'll have to be another day. As a senior NCO, obviously I've had a little bit of time in the military. I've had 15 years now, and so this is probably the highlight of my career with the military, because from a purely selfish point of view, I get to have daily interactions with a culture that is extremely rich and people that are extremely friendly. More than that, I get to then help benefit the community. Something as simple as a well may not cost a lot of money, it may not be huge in terms of what people see as movement towards, but for that family or those 300 families that will then draw water from that well, that makes an impact on their life. So that is what I'm getting out of this deployment. That is why I'm with CIMIC, and that is what I hope people understand is actually going on here in Afghanistan.
My name is Lieutenant Colonel Diana Stanishevsky. I'm a communications officer in the United States Marine Corps. A call came out for volunteers to come to Afghanistan for a year. Now the requirement was we had to learn a language, either Pashto or Dari, because a lot of people in the U.S. military and other militaries do not know Dari or Pashto, and in order to win hearts and minds, you have to speak the language of the people in the country that you're going to. So I learned the Pashto language. I went through a 4-month familiarization course, and then I went through language immersion in Kabul for 2 weeks and then Jalalabad. I have had no problems approaching people. I take my helmet off, I show them that I have long hair, and they're amazed that I speak this language. I introduce myself, I ask them their names, I ask them where they're from, I ask them how their family is doing, and then I ask them if there's any issues that they'd like to bring up, and I take notes. And the Afghan people have been very, very receptive, men, women, and children. I met many Afghans there, and they were continually amazed that a Western woman, not only a Western woman, but a Western woman in the U.S. military would take the time to learn their language. It's a little warm, but I'm excited because each trip I get to meet new people and I get to talk to them and I get to help.
I work with the Kandahar Provincial Reconstruction Team as a forward information gatherer, and my role here is to help stabilize Kandahar City with more situational awareness. My family is very supportive, of course, because I have 2 other members in the military as well. I do draw a lot of strength from them, and they're always like in my heart and with me to give me that strength. I really enjoy contributing to this cause, but I do also feel that I have a sense of obligation back to my own ship and element in Canada.
As the person in charge of the engineers for Task Force Kandahar, what I'm involved in mostly are in the stabilization efforts of the developments. That instead of installing bombs, they have another way of earning an income and actually work on projects that will serve their community, such as roads, canals, irrigation, that type of projects. Well, normally this happens through the Shura process. So the forces in place with the engineers and with different representatives sit down with the village and the local elders and the representative of the various tribes, and they discuss projects or things to be done in their local communities. We are competing against the enemy for the local people to come out and work for these projects. So, for example, they will get intimidation by the Taliban in the area. So they are scared to come out and work on these projects. In some cases, the projects don't go forward. And in some other cases, the local population decide to still go ahead and secure their sites by themselves in order for these projects to move on.
Canada and the United States recognize that at times Afghan nationals may suffer some damage to their property due to the movement of troops and convoys.
Yeah, the ditch is for irrigation, so that your land doesn't flood with water. In the long run, it helps your property. Canada has a military technical agreement with the government of Afghanistan. When damage is caused to a person's land, out of a benevolence payment, we give out some money. Usually the damage has to do with what we refer to as battle damage. What happened is that there was an irrigation ditch that was built. So he actually helped build the irrigation ditch, but part of that ditch took out some of his grape crops. Grapes are actually a fairly common crop here in southern Afghanistan, and it's quite lucrative as well. So I provided him with some form of benevolence payment to compensate damages for those grapevines.
The Canadian Forces supports women in full combat roles, both on and off the front lines. Going outside the wire means going outside the safe zone.
I saw a lot of traumas and a lot of medical calls. My dad was military for 20 years, and I've always wanted to join the military. When I joined, I thought that, you know, you could have the choice between role 1, which is what I'm doing right now, or role 3, which is in the hospital. But we did a training with Maple Guardian, with TACMed. We did a lot of training as medics, and it's a medical now in Afghanistan has to do both. They have to be able to work as sick parade, like anything to do with people with coughs and bruises and cuts, to dismounted with a full gear and walk with the infantry guys. You have to do